Okay, I thought I'd start with this image, which you may recognise from Facebook. It's just started as an advertising campaign. It is "We Will Stand for Those Who Fell," which is a Woodland Trust new campaign, which fits into the fact that the 21st century is seeing something of a renaissance of the association between trees and social memory in the UK. Connected to the science of dendrochronology, we don't necessarily think of it as a science with a founder, but it was founded by this guy, A.E. Douglas. It's not just a physical science, but it also tells the social histories of the human story within the UK. Forests become this sort of civic monument, and this is something that is responded to by a whole group of artists, as well as the government and the media, and in landscape policy. And I put together an exhibition on this, working with various different institutions. This is the Kew collection of 30,000 wood pieces in their xylarium. Xylarium means a wood collection of historical pieces of wood from their original Museum of British Forestry, which was launched in 1906, which you see here. I picked out several of these physical specimens, and I also designed the exhibition to have a similar aesthetic in these bureaus and glass cases, as well as showing physical specimens, showing the telling of time through the grain of the wood. I also showed artistic specimens and the work of social historians, including collected photographs. This is a photograph from the London Metropolitan Archive from histories of the Forestry Commission working in schools. And a number then of individual artists, including this was an architect who was working on imaginations of the reforesting of the Thames estuary in these automated diagrams, which he called New Silver, which is actually quite a common title for forest artworks. Gail Ritchie, this is one of the taster pieces from the exhibition. This was drawing a connection between truncated tree rings and the fallen dead in forests. This is called Memorial Book for Scottish Forests, and if you'll see, it looks sort of like a funereal book, which has names of lost forests inside it. It's designed by Herman de Vries. It fits more into my own personal field of research, which is literature and cultural geography, as does this one. This is a language work in which each ring on the tree shows a different language epoch of names for trees based on pollen analysis in Cumbria. And this was an installation using historical texts about the forest, which the artist Alec Finlay then went through and discovered all of the Gaelic and English titles. This is from the poem Time the Deer is in the Wood of Hallake by Sawley MacLean. Amongst other things, I tried to make it a surrounding exhibition, so there were sound pieces, including Richard Skelton's Landings, which is Noonhill Woods. He created a special extended version for the exhibition, and a number of other sound pieces. This was a film projection called Family Tree, which projected glass portraits from the 1800s in the same space, in these microenvironments of bark, showing the way that we orient our ideas of family trees through ideas of models born from woods or the woods, how we tell our own temporal stories through that. And this is the space. So as you'll see, it has this kind of attic-y collection space, working with the idea of a xylarium or collection. This was in St. John on Bethnal Green, which is a fantastic venue. It's right next to the Museum of Childhood, if you know that. And it also meant that we could run a series of events, including starting with this concert, which is a musician who works with the idea of wold or wildness. It seems a lot of coincidences come up in curatorial work, so oddly this exhibition then followed 2 weeks afterwards, and it seemed that this was fitting into a wider phenomenon of thinking about radical ideas of the environmental archive in current curating. So the various different pieces that I was able to show explored the idea of the archive in different ways, including, this is an index of grief trees, as mentioned in previous literature. It's now all gone up online on this website because it's part of an ongoing ambition to plug in to current work with the Woodland Trust and the National Forest to create artworks in site-specific places, which is fitting in to a wider understanding of forests as a space for generative culture, and investigating ways in which I can present my research actually within woodlands themselves. That seemed a lot faster than...